Greetings to all of you. Trust that you're doing well. Mm. As you can see, I'm on the move. So as you join the broadcast, please let me know whether you hear me clearly as I speak to this matter regarding the Ghana Elections Commission. You would have just noticed if you were on the For Ghana Movement's page, and among other agencies, that there would have been a live, there would have been a press conference, but I'm traveling. Hence, I wasn't able to stand there and speak to the matter. Unfortunately for me, I'm here. Journalists are free to join and ask me any question at this time. But I have the liberty to say exactly what I want to say without interruption, which would not be a good thing for Barrett and Claudette. I had said a while ago that there's a coalition, a new coalition, and that coalition is called PPP slash GCOM, or GCOM's Commissioners plus Claudette. That's a new coalition. I said it over 2 months ago that there is a new coalition entering the elections of 2025. That coalition is the PPP Civic slash GCOM's Commissioners plus Claudette. It is obvious now that they've added a candidate, and that candidate seems to be the chief elections officer and the deputy. Two candidates are added. So they're forming a list of candidates to enter the 2025 elections, and that's my view. And that list must include operatives at GCOM, because there is no way that we could be seeing what we are now and draw any other logical conclusion. As you join the broadcast, please let me know if you see me clearly, you hear me clearly, and let's deal with this matter today. I also spoke to the fact that there is what we call bureaucratic rigging. I'm just reminding you to think before I get into this matter here. I spoke to what is called bureaucratic rigging, which has been employed by the People's Pathetic Party. Bureaucratic rigging, bureaucracy, procedures, and so on, that have been adjusted to directly disenfranchise new political parties. Not just disenfranchise them, but to make it, in some instances, entirely unjust. The law of this country, the Constitution, which is the body of law for Guyana, is pellucid. And you do not say pellucidly clear. Pellucid means to be very clear. It is clear, it is pellucid, that the Guyana Elections Commission must, not should, must ensure that there is fairness and also the appearance of it when it comes to elections. Which is what Claudette Singh used to defend what she did with the stupid recount nonsense. The PPP, of course, baiting her into action. Say, listen, you have the mandate to make this thing appear to be fair. Whatever it takes. You do whatever it takes for people to feel it's fair. You have to roll slow in this, right? Dango. So, there's a bump in my head, fly out of camera range. So what she decided to do was to even employ what was unconstitutional to make something appear to be fair. I'm talking about the recount foolishness. The law of this country never, ever, ever once, and it still does not, allow for there to be anything called a recount in the absence of a formal election petition filed. There is nothing called a recount process that can legally be entered into without there being first the filing of an election petition, which comes after the declaration of results. So I saw journalists who saw it. Of course, they paid by us, mind you. Guyana Chronicle is, the staff are paid by us. We own the Guyana Chronicle, the people. It's called a state agency. And because we own it, the PPP has thought that it's best to control it. The same thing happens with PNC. There's this notion that whenever you are in government, you control the media. And it shouldn't be that case because we control the media, we the people. And so the journalist was speaking to that they, Amanza Walton, who happens to be one of the leaders of the Forum Ghana movement, along with me and Doran Best. The reasoning is that you didn't have a problem in 2020, so I have a problem now. What that journalist failed to do within her right of researching before you refute was to simply assess a basic situation, which is that GCOM, not Amanza, not Nigel Hughes, not Simona Brooms, GCOM changed the protocols, GCOM changed the procedures, GCOM changed many things to suit the PPP and disenfranchise new parties. We didn't do that. So GCOM's change that they enacted or employed to target Mohammed and target any new movement that challenges them has backfired. That is what has happened. We have to understand what is at play. So I'm giving you a perfect introduction to this broadcast right here. So in 2020, Claudette Singh functioned as the chairperson of GCOM. She is still present. Before we get to this last decision here regarding what's happening at Yamana Yana, I want to give you a historical view of Claudette Singh's behavior. And you can decide on how you deal with that matter. You decide, not me. So I see that there is I call them the PPP ticks on my broadcast. So since there's a flea on the broadcast, and some of you being this, they don't bother me so. But I will seek to have the person blocked for your sake because I don't want you to be distracted today. So I'm monitoring from my other device. Let's see how this is going to work. Just tell me if you're having any issues on the broadcast, okay? Is it good? Check. This shouldn't be there's no feedback and stuff. So I'm going to find one of the ticks and get him out. All right. You seem to be fine. Good. So I will give you some history about Claudette Singh. There's another broadcast. You need some history because once you have the history, you'll be able to form a conclusion based on Claudette's behavior. So we've had a situation in which, because of 2020 and what happened in 2020, the observers from the international bodies and agencies made certain recommendations, 20 plus recommendations. And among those recommendations would have been a very critical one, That would have been to employ or utilize what is called biometrics. Let's talk about that for a second. Because those people are from countries where they know that you need to have authentic elections, authentic verification. You need to know who's who. And one person must account for one vote. And dead people can't vote with these biometrics. So if you utilize biometrics, it is only when a voter shows up to vote that that is accounted for. If you do not employ biometrics, then Claudette and others in GCOM that represented us with 718,000 adults in this country. That's what I said. We have got 718,000 people from age 18 through. No, don't go back to that. From age 18 through 100 or whatever. Claudette Singh is okay with telling us as Guyanese that there are 780,000 adults, which means if you consider 17 and younger, we have more than 1.2 million people in our country, just about, or 1.1 million. So Guyana has little landmark. We have got a population of more than 1 million people right now as we speak. Is that the case? Why haven't they released the information about the census? Why haven't they brought the information of the census to us? You came to my house and had how many people here? Where do they work and all that? Why have you not yet released the information on the census PPP? More than that, with your cash grant foolishness, you acquired, according to you, I can tell you, 412,000 people received the $100,000 cash grant. So you're telling me that 306,000 adults in this country didn't take your money? No, I didn't take it. But I want you to tell me that 306,000 Guyanese adults say they don't want any $100,000. Y'all are not sick of being dishonest and stupid? I can't call you anything else. It is stupid to have that kind of reasoning. It is remarkably insane for the PPP to say that 300 plus thousand Guyanese say they don't want any $100,000. That is why you hear them talk about low voter turnout. You know why they say that to you? Because they know that they do not have 718,000 adults in this country, but they have 300 plus names to work with. And that's what they use to rig. But beyond that is the fact that Claudette Singh, being the chairperson of GCOM, is aware of the fact that the international agencies who are observing the elections said that y'all are ridiculous with this nonsense. You need to have biometrics. In the bare minimum, employ biometrics. If you utilize biometrics, then we know that every person shows up to vote. They're accounted for. The DNA, the biology is used to identify them. So I can't take somebody else's retina scan or fingerprint for it to be mine. Unless I go to the extreme to do some really illegal business. And people have the time to do that on a large scale. So Claudette, from 2020, blatantly refused to do that which the ABCE nation said she should. Can you imagine that? Can you all grasp that? That this woman and the three PPP commissioners refused, along with Bara Jagdeo, Anil Nandlal, what's his name? Irfan. Well, Irfan has no decision-making power in the PPP. Irfan is an absolute puppet. Jagdeo makes the call because Irfan told us that the youth have $200,000 cash grant per household. You remember he said that? And Barrett and the press come and say, where you get it from? You'll have to wait. And it was Barrett's decision that was carried. Irfan is a powerless puppet. of the PPP's general secretary, who's Bara Jagdeo. So as the one who's paid to be president, he could not decide that the right thing to do, Mr. Reproactive, the right thing to do, Mr. Cervical, the right thing to do is to employ biometrics, to utilize biometrics, because it is the implemented. It's the easier thing to solve any issue regarding rigging. But the People's Pathetic Party cannot win an election in this country without rigging. They can't, and they'll still lose although they rig. That is how people despise you. How much people hate you and hate the fact that you even exist, because you are a cancer to this society. You pose danger to us, even in reference to unity. So let me show you what this lady did. When they voted for, and Claudette, I dare you to challenge one what I said today. I dare Claudette Singh, I dare Bara Jagdeo, I dare Anil, because you're the three. Irfan doesn't waste time with me. Irfan has no sense. He wouldn't waste time to try even engage me. I dare y'all to challenge one word I say. One word I say this afternoon regarding what is true. Go to press conference next week, Barrett, and challenge what I say. Claudette Singh, when they were voting for biometrics, when they didn't even vote yet, they decided, listen, we need to do this. Claudette went against it. Claudette Singh voted against utilizing biometrics in the elections. She had 5 years, not one, not two, not three. 5 years. It took her 4 plus to have it on January 2025, this year. This year it made its way to the agenda. And in this year, Claudette said, no, you can't have it because of time. 5 years, 5 years. And in January, Claudette said, no, we don't have enough time. And it requires parliamentary decisions. Now, if it requires constitutional amendment, how could they amend the Natural Resource Fund Act, rush it through Parliament when you had a mace grabbing story, and rush to rob us of our patrimony or wealth? They could rush to change whether the word should be the Claudette shall or Claudette may cause certain things to happen when you reach 18. No, don't rush that through as well. But they can't rush to say that we should have biometrics. The PPP accused AP and you of rigging. And if you accuse Granger of rigging, then you should be the ones to ensure there's no rigging in the future. And for 5 years, you can't ensure there's no rigging because you are the chief of rigging. Press everything, please. Between the two. You and take the temperature down to low. You are the riggers in chief. Five years. 5 years. And Bara Jagdeo. And Bara Jagdeo is yet to ensure that $1 was spent on biometrics being utilized for elections. Because the PPP knows that if they employ or they utilize biometrics, they will lose miserably. And they cannot bring dead people to vote. Neither can people in the US be voting and Canada be voting, and they're not here anywhere here for the last 10 years. So number one, Claudette, you cannot deny the fact that you voted against it, employing what the unions, European Union, ABCE nation said that we should utilize. You did it. You went against it. Let's do that first one. You cannot deny that. Next, when Lowenfield and Myers were to be investigated and so on, Claudette voted that they should both be relieved of their duties. Claudette, again, without a court ruling, Hanuman said he can find 1,000, not 100, 1,000 witnesses to say Granger was rigging. In the absence of Hanuman providing 50, Claudette said Lowenfield needs to go home. Claudette again voted against that which was proper. And that's a former judge now. That's no ordinary person. That's someone who understands law, who knows that you should not terminate somebody's service in the absence of evidence, and more so an investigation that's thorough enough to prove him, to deem him to be guilty or innocent. Claudette said no. Press the arrow for the loop to circulate here in the car. Straight. Go straight. Go straight. No, no, no. No, not that you turn the AC. Go down. Right. So ensure the AC is on. Okay, right. She voted against that. So now, Madam Claudette, you cannot deny that either. She sent Lowenfield off. Myers gone. Now, the law of this country and protocol, basic procedures, require that the Guyana Elections Commission, for the chief election, listen carefully, please, the chief elections officer, not any ordinary person, the CEO, which Lowenfield was, must have at least 10 years experience, 10 years of experience before you could be qualified. Vishnu Prasad did not have 10, he had 7 or less. So based on the time, there was a Jamaican person who was qualified, overly qualified. Claudette voted against a Jamaican man of African descent who was overly qualified to be a chief election officer. And that would have been the best thing, because he has no PPP connection, no PNC connection, he cannot vote. So we good. At least no connection enough. Claudette voted against the person who was most qualified to take Lowenfield's position. Claudette said that because Vishnu used to be around GCOM and around Lowenfield and others, and he had a chance to act here and there, that added up or amounted to him making 10 years. That's what the woman did. You can't deny that either. Everything I said to you, I dare you and GCOM to issue one statement to say what I said is untrue. I'm giving you all a history of this woman's behavior to bring it to you, Manayana. So Vishnu earned a spot as the chief elections officer when he was legally disqualified from being there. Do you understand that? The person who made the decision about who should be at Manayana second and third is not qualified by law to be there today. But Claudette voted for him to be there. Claudette voted for Anil Giddings to be the deputy. Again, whenever there was a vote in Guyana Elections Commission, at the Guyana Elections Commission, where the 3 PNC or APNU commissioners voted one way, and the 3 PP commissioners voted one way, and Claudette had a deciding vote, she used her deciding vote for the PPP. 100%. This woman who now is there, who put Vishnu Prasad there with her vote, is before us again. So no biometrics. No biometrics. Let's deal with the things that Claudette would have done. So the PNCs or APNU's commissioner said, listen, at minimum, let's demand that there be fingerprinting. Mandatory. Mandatory. Let's have the most commonly used biometric data, your fingerprint. They said, let's at least when you go to vote, put your fingerprint on a scanner as you do the airports across the world and in Guyana, and we know it's you. Guyanese brothers and sisters, it is that simple. Claudette said no. You need constitutional reform for that. 5 years. 5 years. And Claudette said no. We need constitutional reform. This woman did that. So with that brief history, among others, From 2020 or in 2020, the general practice, even at local government, would have been as you show up on nomination day, the party that gets there first is allowed to present their list of candidates and nominators first. Makes sense. First come, first serve. As a result of that understanding, because GCOM has not issued anything to say that in 2025, this would be the order, the protocol by which you present your list of nominations of candidates. So they could say, well, you have to prepare your list, and the first party present their list to us online would be the first we accept. No need to line up anywhere. Going to line up would now be, the queue would just be normal parade for electoral optics. But you could do it online. No, they said, no, you have to go in person. Now, if you go in person, they could also say that we would have a system in which if you show up first, you register. So we open this for 1 week. Whoever is there 1 week ahead of time, you first. On site. And as you come, we take record of who's there. That makes sense. So APNU got there first. Now I want to show you all evidence. I want to show you evidence. I wasn't shown to the journalists. So let Kaito News, Tabuk News, any news, come here and let's do the evidence. And Barrett must come here to do with the evidence. So I bet you didn't know. Or here's something you didn't know. Now I don't know if I must call you Susan or Sherlin or Marlon, whoever he is, but your name on your passport or birth certificate Susan. Bet you didn't know Susan decided. Let's see the facts. I'm showing you the facts here. So here in front of you, Manayana, is a photograph, not time-stamped. Susan is embracing Kwame. And these two creatures are standing there amongst others. There's a photograph here. I'm showing you evidence. This photograph here, taken in front of the gate of the Manayana. Good? We don't know the date. And Susan, when she saw APNU, when she saw Simona Broom's ALP, she saw AFC, she decided she's going to make a comment when she saw Fort Ghana and so on. She has something to say because Susan can't help herself. So Susan decides she has to make a comment about those of us who are lined or queued up outside of the Manayana. This is her comment. Susan Rodriguez, Junior Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water. The People's Progressive Party Civic took up its position at the Manayana on Monday, July 7, 2025. Look at how asinine this young lady is. The only other political party present at that time was APNU. Immediately upon arrival, we recognized that GCOM has not yet even occupied the property. That GCOM has not even occupied the property as yet. And our party leadership called us away since there was no point in waiting. Barrett and others called Susan away. They called Kwame away. Thankfully so. They removed that creature from the public's eye. So you're removed from here. They moved them. There's no point in waiting, said Susan. Not sure why people are jostling outside for position when GCOM has still not taken possession of the building. This is what Susan said. Susu, you said that. That is what Susan said. How then can this Vishnu Mr. Disqualified, legally disqualified chairperson, CEO, and Claudette arrive at, no, that's what Susan said. That is what Susan said. That Barrett and others, the leadership, call them away from there. So if they said that PNC or APNU was there and they left, it means they're not there. They didn't leave a car. They didn't leave a banner. They did not leave any paraphernalia to say we're here. They didn't leave a message to say, listen, tell me coming back. They left. Because Susan says no need to be there. She has other things to do. Now, when they left, hold the screen up, please. Vishnu, pull up this broadcast. Vishnu had something to say. I want to read it. The print is kind of small. But Vishnu, go to the broadcast. Yeah. Let me read it. Simona Brooms. Miss Simona Brooms, dated July 11, 2025. So I'll keep the camera while I'm reading. That's fine, because you can't see this. So I'm reading what's on the screen. The Guyana Elections Commission does not have, listen now, this, the Guyana Elections Commission does not have, I took it off the screen, I put it back, a formalized procedure that sets an order for the arrival of contesting political parties to submit their list of candidates to contest general and regional elections. Very first paragraph of Vishnu Prasad. Guyana Elections Commission does not have a formalized procedure. If you don't have a formalized procedure, then how do you even write what comes next? Against this background, says Vishnu, the commission is confronted with a situation where three political parties position themselves outside of the compound of the Manayana. And one party submitted a photograph with attached text as evidence of its presence at the venue on July 7th. That's the PPP, by the way. Susan, Kwame, and others. Having communicated formally with the chairman and commissioners on this matter, and in an attempt to give a semblance of orderly conduct, on nomination day, the chief election officer has decided to allocate second place to the party that laid claim to this spot. In view of this, you've been allocated fourth place. Guyanese brothers and sisters, this is what Vishnu Prasad, who knows that his appointment to the Guyana Elections Commission's Office of Chief Election Officer is unconstitutional, was unconstitutional. He knows that he's disqualified from being there. But Claudette's vote has him there. He knows that. So whoever has to call the shots, Vishnu can't. So Vishnu said there is no formalized procedure, no formalized procedure to say who's first, second, but PP second. This insane, asinine, imbecilic decision has been made that we have no formalized order. We have not told you what's going to happen, but PP second. So whatever we decide, PPP becomes second because they sent a photograph. Which photograph did they send? This. So because the PPP sent this, they're second. It doesn't matter. They didn't say who's first. Mr. Vishnu Prasad did not even have the gall to say who's first. PPP, you second. Now, when I went to visit the brothers who were there for Forward Ghana Movement, we went and we spent our time there as well. When I was coming from from Region 6, Region 5, we stopped on our way back to Linden. We were there and I did a live broadcast. We were duly informed that Mr. Stewart from the Ghana Elections Commission visited the site and took note of who was present and in what order they were present. And he also said, well, APNU will be first, ALP will be second, AFC will be second, ALP will be third, and Forward Ghana Movement will be fourth. An employee of GCOM did that. But after he would have done that, Susan photograph made way to GCOM. And Susan told this boy, because I don't call them men when they're so silly. Susan told this creature that there is no need. What's the sense, essentially? Why waste your time? Look at Susan's words. They took a photograph and they observed that GCOM did not take possession of the property. So it makes no sense to be there. They left. She doesn't even see why people have to be there jostling for position. Susan said that. And after saying that, Vishnu Prasad still went ahead to say that Susan is second. The People's Pathetic Party are controlling the Ghana Elections Commission to the extent that the Ghana Elections Commission has to do even that which is unconstitutional, improper, unethical, unfair, undemocratic. They have to do whatever it takes to please Bharat Jagdeo and his minions. What I find interesting is that the likes of We Invest in Nationhood saw no reason to be there. That's what I find interesting. APNU, well, they're either, maybe they didn't know of the situation, probably not, and they were busy doing something else, I don't know. But the end of the day is that those who chose to be there showed a spirit of unity and strength that says we may be contesting in the election, but we are united in reference to what we stand for. I thank AFC. I thank ALP led by Simona Bruce. I'm certainly a part of For Ghana movement. We stood there together because we didn't have to make different statements. This affects all of us. And when GCOM wants to sell this idea to us that they're small parties and they're big parties, this is what happens. The law of Ghana speaks to parties entering election, not small and big. Everyday Guyanese are seeing what the PPP is all about. We are seeing and we are hearing that if we've made decisions in many circles for persons to know who is supporting whom, and they must not get contract because who they support. That's what these unlawful bastards are doing to us in Guyana. And the question has to be, what do we do about it? Here's where the law gets tricky. The general spirit of the Representation of People Act is that the court becomes involved after a dispute has been raised where elections are concerned. So there has to be voting and then you have a problem. And I don't agree with that because I believe that the court should be approached now. I believe that the attorney should approach the court, let the judge say, listen, all right, I'll decide. And then she says, well, you should not have come yet. The least he should do is approach the court. Because Claudette is getting out of hand. Vishnu has lost his mind. Vishnu has to be suffering from a very severe bout of psychosis. For him to say that there is no procedure, no outlined order, no order as to how you will approach on the first on July 14th. But PPP second, it is insane. To say that just from a photograph and a text he made a decision, it is absolutely stupid. We have to, we must take note of the silence of we invest in nation. I don't fight y'all. I'm saying to you that I am saying to you now, me as a person, if you are in this election and you don't see an issue with this, we have a problem. And you all know I don't stand for people, I stand for principle. So there's no attack on Azadin Muhammad or anybody. I'm telling you what is principle. We are all in this, and you should all stand for what is right. Unless there's another reason why you're not standing. This is wrong to all of us, not to Ford Ghana Movement, PNC, or ALP. It is wrong to all parties involved, including the PPP. But the PPP wants to benefit from being second and being considered to be this privileged party. They don't have to join in line. They don't have to wait. And when they show up with their dead voters, they must have a free pass. When they finish reading Le Repentir, Christenberg Cemetery, Rosignol Cemetery, when they get through with the graveyard shift, Claudette must just say, yes, you're free to go. We are all consumed. Aubrey Norton, you and I cool, and I know you're watching. You will watch. Say something. Because we're all in this together. We're not going to wait for them to rig and have some fanciful results, then decide to talk together. Talk now. Speak to what is right. Because GCOM is telling you that you're not even first. They didn't have the decency to say that they saw you first. They simply said that PP is second. Whoever, only one party sent a photograph. Well, tell me that if Susan is in front of the gate, then they're before y'all because it crosses the gate. These are things on which we should coalesce. These are matters here on which we are one when it comes to the rigging of the PPP. When it applies to the bureaucratic rigging of the People's Pathetic Party, we are one. When it applies to how we should vote, we're one. Get them out. And I would further encourage, as always I would, that we should have a situation in our minds where we're prepared to work together at all costs to get rid of these demons called the PPP and their minions who work in various agencies to support their wicked behavior. Get them out. Claudette Singh, when there's a change of government or administration, I hope that you know to pray, and that you pray that for Ghana movement, with me in it, isn't there to be with you, because you'll go to jail. You'll be charged for dereliction of duty. You'll be charged for seeking to disenfranchise people. You'll be charged for functioning in a manner that is unlawful and unethical, and you will spend time in prison, according to whatever the law stipulates. I'm telling you now. So pray hard. Fast and pray. Drink water only. Because the day I have the authority to deal with y'all, all y'all regret the day you were born, given the things you do to Guyanese people. Y'all are ridiculous. And somebody has to stop this madness happening in our country. I'm not on this broadcast to be nice. I'm not on this broadcast to be liked. I'm on this platform to deal with y'all in truth. The most corrupt of all political parties in our history is the PPP, led by Barjagio. They are the most dangerous set of people. Irfan rushed to announce the date for election, and the Ghana Elections Commission is unprepared for it. What do y'all do? Rush ahead and do all kinds of nonsense? So there is still time for us to coalesce and enter this thing together to deal with these zombies you got in the PPP. Forward Ghana movement is open to always speaking to and working towards a healthy coalition, not a nonsensical coalition. That's always been our spirit. That is our attitude. Let us do this together. Because Mr. Vishnu saw no reason to even write to us. Forward Ghana movement has not been, when it came to our symbol, they didn't write to us. They had a press briefing and that's a press release. And that's when we saw that our symbol was not accepted. We had to write to them. When we replied to this situation regarding Yumana Yana, no letter came to us. That's how disrespectful these people are. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? People, it's your time to act. Remember that today, July 14, what date is it? It can't be the 14th, it'll be the 13th, the 12th. We will be in Bath, in Belladrum at 4 o'clock. Meet and greet. See you there. Let's have a healthy interaction. All right. No. All right. So we'll talk.